Hi, welcome to my craft room. We have another idea here for working with the designer series paper at the base of our card. So that I know exactly where to start, I'm going to catch my bone into this groove and I'm going to go straight across right where that designer paper is. That will show me where to start making my lines because you have to do this on the wrong side. First, I am lining that right up. So I'm going to move this over 1/2 inch. Line that up with this line right here. And I will score. I'm going to do it a couple of times. Now slide that over. Line that up each and every time. Now take your time doing this because you want this to be straight. I'll repeat it again. I'm lining that up with this line right here. If you follow that same line each and every time, you'll have success. And there we have it. Can y'all see? Next, we're going to do a little distressing on this. I'm going to use a little bit of this dotto on a scrap of paper, and I do mean a little. It doesn't take a lot, but you want to do that just so that it doesn't shift on you. And I'm tipping this forward so that I can see exactly where the base of my line is. I hope y'all can see that. But that's just where I've got this scrap of paper lined up. I'm going to take my river rock and my crumb cake, and I'm going to sponge. I'm going to do just the river rock to begin with. And when you're doing this, you want to work on this paper and then go slightly off. You're not going way into this. Circular motions. I'm making it the heaviest on both of my cut edges. Then I'm just doing ever so slightly across this. Now I'm going to turn my sponge over and pick up just a little bit of my crumb cake. Starting on both sides, once again, that's where you want it to be the darkest, lightest in the center. Now I'm just going to continue to repeat that. Okay, so we have that all finished. Can you see what a difference that makes? That really shows off those embossing lines. You like it? Okay, next we're going to punch out some hearts. I've already done 3. And this is done in the very vanilla. And this is our full heart. We're going to be doing lots of things with this. This is another punch that I highly recommend that you consider purchasing. Put this on your wish list. First thing we're going to do is we're going to distress these as well. Would you have ever thought that little sponge would come in so handy? If you like the vintage or the old look, you're going to love distressing. Remember, what color first? River rock. And then we'll follow up with crumb cake. Next, we're going to cut the edges off of 2 of these hearts, and I'm going to show you just how to design this. I have this heart extending over to the halfway mark here. And I have the tops of my hearts buttered up with the top of my trimmer. And now I'm going to trim that off. And the easy way to do the other side is put those two together, match those right up, and then just take your scissors, and now they're exactly the same, two bookends, except they're going to go like this. A ruler is something you're really going to need, and one thing that I've done is I've even put a piece of Scotch tape on the 5-inch mark of this so that it's so easy for me to spot. And I'm going to go to about 6.5. I want that a little bit longer. And now I'm going to mark that so that, because it's going to be 5.5. So let me bring this in, line this up in the center. I've got my line right along this 1/2 inch mark, like so. And now I'm going over 5.5, which will be here and here. Flip my ruler around, get it back on. My line is right along that 1/2 inch, that 1 inch mark. Once again, 1 inch mark, I misspoke. And this is my card right there. Now I'm going to show you just how to do these hearts so that they match up exactly the way you want them to. But first let me distress these edges. Now a little crumb cake. Taking my dado, and I'm just putting a tiny bit here on the back. And I am going to match this up so that right where I've cut that, that is going to go right on my line. Repeat that, just put a little bit of dado on the back, and right where I've cut that, now these are exactly the same because we've cut the one and used the second one as a pattern. Now the fun begins. Now we're going to put these in that. So this is going to overlap, and then this will overlap that. And so you want to kind of play with that. This is going to be the one that I want to have both of my ends showing. Kind of like so. If you wanted, you could raise this up a little bit. That might be cute too. Or you could bring it down a little bit. I think that's what I did. Mine I brought down just ever so slightly above this. So you're the artist. You can do it however you want. Now I'm going to show you how to connect these. Take a little bit of the, well, first of all, what I did was I put just a tiny bit at the base. Just to, once I got it exactly the way I wanted it, I put it at the base. And I'm going to do the same thing here at the base. And that way you've got a little bit of play space. So if it's not exactly how you want it, you can change it. Now what I did was I lifted up this and put just a drop of my mono adhesive. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Whoopsie, came loose, but that's okay. I can reposition it. Probably should have put just a little bit more. I barely put any. And next I'm ready to stamp. I'm going to be using our Stampin'Up, and if you're not familiar with how to use this, I have another video. Go back and refer to that. That'll really give you great detailing. But this is the imaging sheet. I am sliding this stamp right down along this. This is made like a T-square, and this imaging sheet is butted up right into the corner and flush with this arm. And this is what you want to use when you're wanting to stamp something in a little bit different way. But just by lining that right up, bring this arm back to your imaging sheet. Make sure that is flush along the side and at the top. Re-ink, and I'm using soft suede. Remove the imaging sheet. You want to just slide that straight down, and voila! You can, that way you can have your stamp anywhere you want it, and it's going to turn out perfect each and every time. So let's lift it up. Because we've used the dado, it'll raise right up. And isn't that cool? I think I should have been a drafter in another world. I love to draft things. Okay, and now look at there. It is precise. And now this is when you make the choice. You can have it come all the way down, like so. I chose to bring it up ever so slightly and have these little peaks showing right in here. Because I varied the heights of my hearts ever so slightly, there could be a disadvantage to doing it this way because you're going to see different distances in here. So I'm now going to just adhere this on. And one last thing is I punched out with the 1/2 inch circle punch. I punched from one of the designer papers. I punched these little circles out of this paper and then adhered those on. So we will now, and I'm going to use anywhere glue, roll that up and just rub that in and position it on. And you can kind of decide how you want to do it. I think I'm going to make like an X on this. So let me turn that ever so slightly. And the other one I went with is straight up and down, but I'm going to do this a little different. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you need one, you know, and I'm asking you to choose me. I would be there with you from the moment you place your order. I would track it, and I would let you know exactly when it's going to be at your home. And then I would do follow-up with you until the merchandise has arrived at your home and you are satisfied. Plus, I have several other perks. You will receive a card from me with every purchase that you make, and there are other benefits as well. Our card is finished. And on is we are using just a strip of paper and just getting different elements. I'm going to place this onto there so that you get the idea. I hope you gained some knowledge out of this today, and please contact me if you have any questions. Click on the link below to go to my blog, and there I will have the materials listed, continuing to make that wish list up for you. Thank you so much.